If you're anything like me, this time of year, it feels really fast-paced, but yet we're about to head into, inverted commas, the holidays. We're in the holidays, and you need to know that you're allowed to rest, and rest isn't the enemy of your creativity. It's the part you've been taught to feel guilty about because we live in the culture we do. But the truth is that most artists never hear that the season when nothing is happening on the outside is usually the season when everything is rebuilding on the inside. Welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast, where artists of all kinds come to fuel their passion, sharpen their skills, and thrive in their creative lives. I'm your host, Lara Pilcher, life and creativity coach and fellow artist, here to support you on your artistic journey. Whether you're a performer, writer, visual artist, or any kind of artist, this is the space for real talk, practical advice, and inspiring stories. Subscribe and join us each week for more inspiration and actionable insights to fuel your artistry. Let's dive in and get inspired. Welcome back to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast. I'm Lara Pilcher, life and creativity coach, author of Audacious, Artistry, performer, artist like you. And in this episode, we're talking about something artists almost never admit out loud. The fear that if you rest, you'll fall behind. I am telling you this from experience. I have struggled very badly with this in my past. I felt like it was even hard at times to just focus on my children when they were little, because I felt like if I'm not pushing forward, I'm going to fall behind. It's a sneaky little one. But before we dive in, if this podcast has grounded you, encouraged you, or met you in a tough creative season, it would mean the world to me if you hit follow and leave a quick 5-star review. It helps this message reach more artists who need it. And as a reminder, my book, Audacious Artistry, is officially available for pre-order. If you are craving clarity and a stronger sense of who you are as an artist, and you need this in this world, all the details are in the show notes, but you can head to larabiancapilcher.com and you'll find it right there on my homepage. Now, if you're a dancer, an actor, a singer, a writer, or a visual artist, or any kind of creative soul, you probably know this exact feeling. You stop for one weekend, or even one afternoon, and suddenly guilt shows up like a critic in the corner saying, "How dare you?" You might not even be aware of it. You're falling behind, it says. Everyone else is producing, or you're losing your edge as you scroll through social media. Artists tell me this every week, and a dancer said, "If I rest, I'll lose my discipline." A writer has whispered, "If I stop, I'm afraid I'll never start again." I understand that feeling. Or an actor confessing, "I feel worthless when I'm not producing, or I'm not in something and I haven't booked for a year," or whatever it is. And the truth that you need to hear is that most artists, we don't have a discipline problem, even though it can feel like that. We actually have the opposite. We have a recovery problem. So rest isn't actually the issue. The fear around rest is, and I don't mean the rest where you go and have a nap rest. I'm talking about if I'm not pushing forward with my art, because we live in that culture that says showing up productivity is value, but it's working against that creative flow. So let me break this down for you in the psychology coaching sort of space. Your creative brain is not a machine. It's a rhythm, and it works in cycles. And your nervous system, that's your fight, flight, rest, recovery, all of that, needs oscillation. Activation, creation. Deactivation, restoration. So they work in oppositions. And when you're switching off from constant output, you actually restore. When you want to be most creative, you need to actually sometimes learn to deactivate. Now, every athlete trains with rest cycles, actually, if they've got a good coach. Olympic athletes, believe it or not, are not waking up at midnight and then going 12 hours non-stop, because rest is part of understanding the way that the body works. Yes, they work hard, but they understand that there is a way that we're built in our muscular system, and my husband's a physical therapist for artists, that actually requires us to go hard and then rest. Every musician builds pauses into the phrases of their music, and there's a metaphor in that. So artists, we've been conditioned to believe that if we stop, we will lose everything. And this can look like, oh, if I don't post today, I will lose momentum. But it's not true. It's the lie that we're believing. Or if I don't this today, I will miss out on this. Or if I don't submit to all these jobs that I actually don't want to submit to, then I'm not going to get my opportunity and my big break. But neuroscience says the opposite. Rest improves idea generation. Rest improves emotional regulation. Rest improves creative risk-taking so that you can show up the way you want. And rest stabilizes our identity. It's amazing what's happened to me when I was living, for example, in London. This has happened in numerous places. And I've gone on a holiday and I've left that environment and realized that when I step outside the orbit that I'm in, of all of that identity and striving, that I feel like, oh, outside this environment, the data for which I'm calling my worth doesn't exist. And when I step outside it, it's losing its power. Not my desire to be an artist, but the things that are in my identity that I'm chasing for my worth, rather than actually allowing myself to rest and increase the benefits of rest within my creative practice. It can feel like sometimes, like, I bet when I go to Australia next year to do the tour that I'm doing, the book tour and beyond, that's when I'll probably get the self-tape that's going to equal the big job that I've always wanted. That's Murphy's Law. But yet I need to actually do that. I need to look at my life and all of the angles and trust that everything's going to be okay, that I am allowed to step outside the orbits I'm in, whether it's rest or it's to do something else. Now, if you refuse to rest, your creativity stops long before you do. And you start feeling like a factory line. And your creativity is suffering when you operate like that. Because most blocks, they're not blocks. They're actually exhaustion signals. And I actually created a reel on Instagram this week that was talking about, oh, we're not blocked, says creativity, we're burnt toast. As in, we're just exhausted and we can't create anymore. So it's a little humorous if you want to go check that out. I create a lot of things like that to help you understand the way the mind works, and they seem comedy, but there's a teaching in them that we are often operating in our brain. So I operate when I make these reels as different characters, whether it's perfectionism or fear or those sorts of things. So you can check that out at Lara on Instagram or other platforms like LinkedIn. So let's pause for a moment. Now, if this episode is already hitting something tender in you, I have created a free resource that would be perfect for you in the season that we're in right now. It's called the Creative Reset Masterclass. It's a mindset masterclass, and it has an unusual name. You'll have to go to larabiancapilcher.com/masterclass to find that. It's a free 30-minute video. You can watch it in your own time. There's no call from me. There's no showing up on Zoom. It's just watch in your own time, no pressure, just grounded coaching to help you rebuild. And it has a little workbook you can do with it. And you'll find the link in the show notes or larabiancapilcher.com/masterclass. Or if you're navigating creativity and you're in a relationship, my husband and I host a second podcast together called Marriage, Intimacy and Healing. And it's honest and it's practical and it's deeply supportive for couples. And you can find that at andrewandlara.com. Okay, back to the episode. So the mind reframe here is, rest doesn't take you backwards. Rest prepares you for what's next. Take it from me, I am someone who doesn't naturally rest well. I want to be producing all the time. I am an artist with incredible drive. I've been like that my entire artistic career, to the point that I have to schedule rest in with my family. Like I talk about it on the other podcast about fun. We call it FFG night, fun and family games, because I will honestly want to keep producing. It's just the personality type that I have. But when you pause, here's what I've discovered that is absolutely true, and it's also backed by science. Your nervous system finally has space to repair. Because when you step back, your subconscious starts solving problems without pressure. When you slow down, your voice actually gets clearer. Your mind gets clearer. Your worth was never tied to your output. Your identity doesn't disappear. You think that rest is stealing your momentum. Rest isn't stealing your momentum. Rest is rebuilding your momentum, and your creativity knows it. So, my Creative Spark Challenge, the little challenge I give you in every episode every week that comes out 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, is choose one moment this week, even 90 seconds, to slow down your breathing and let your system reset. Call it a creative rep, not a weakness. So easy. Choose a moment. If you have to set a timer, if you have to set a reminder, do that on your phone. Even 90 seconds, we're talking 1.5 minutes, to slow down your breathing and just allow yourself to reset. Now, if today's episode helped you breathe easier, make sure you follow the show on whatever platform you're on so that new episodes land right in your feed. You can pre-order my book, Audacious Artistry, and you can download the free Creative Reset Masterclass anytime. Both links are in the show notes or larabiancapilcher.com/book or /masterclass. And thank you for being here. You're not behind. You are rebuilding, you are preparing for a new year, and you are allowed to rest knowing that it's going to work for your creativity, not against it. And I'm with you on the journey, friends. Bye for now. By the way, if you are here, this is part of Creative Restoration International, which is the not-for-profit department that my husband and I both run. And if you would like to donate to this work for artists, we also have the Program B, which is the marriage, intimacy and healing work, then you can do that at creativerestorationinternational.com. And we thank you for your support because it enables us to keep showing up for you each week with these free resources. Bye, friends. Thank you for tuning in to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an inspiring conversation or actionable insight. You can read the show notes and learn more at larabiancapilcher.com. And be sure to share this episode with fellow artists who could use a little extra inspiration. Until next time, keep creating, stay audacious, and remember, your artistry matters.